and welcome to our Stretch and Tone 1-hour yoga class today. I will be offering a lot of variations throughout this class, so make sure you stay true to where you are today to really get the most out of today's practice. Meet me in Shavasana. While you're here in Shavasana, allow your feet to roll outward, relaxing your body weight into the floor, rolling your shoulders down your back, relaxing your jaw, and allowing your eyes to softly close. Start to tap into your breath here, long inhales and exhales through your nose. I would like to offer up a quote for today's practice. Sometimes the greatest miracle is being able to face exactly where you're at and say, "This is where I am. No running, no hiding. There's gold for me here, and I intend to find it no matter what." Start to bring some energy back into your fingertips and your feet, waking up the body, and slowly draw your knees into your chest. Do whatever feels good here, flexing your feet, rolling little circles on your lower back, holding in your knees, squeezing them to your chest, allowing your eyes to stay closed and still tapping into that breath. Release your arms into a cactus shape, bending at the elbows at 90 degrees with your palms facing up. Allow your knees together to drop to your left side. Rotate your neck to look over to your right for a full reclined spinal twist. Feel your knees anchoring to the floor and your upper body remaining flat with your shoulder blades against the ground for the deepest possible twist. Go ahead and bring your knees back to center and switch over to the other side, your knees falling to the right and your head looking over the left. If your knees don't fully touch the ground, that is perfectly okay. If you would like to add a little bit more comfort in this position, you can always feel free to add a block under your knees so that you can relax into the stretch a little further. Go ahead and bring your knees back to the center, engaging your core. And we're going to make our way to tabletop. So you can either rock and roll like I'm doing here, or you can roll onto your side to get onto your hands and knees. Make sure your hands are directly under your shoulders and your knees are directly under your hips. We're going to take our first cat, arching our back, inhaling and looking up, into our cow, exhaling and reversing the direction of the spine. And now we take cat again, inhaling, arching the back and looking up, and exhale, contracting and letting our head look down to finish the curve. Inhale, cat, and exhale, cow. Now we return our spine back to neutral. We're going to look over our right, stretching our left side body, and returning back to center. We look to the left, stretching our right side body, center, look to the right, center, and look to the left, center. Now we're going to take full spinal circles, starting to the right. We're going to take 3 nice, juicy, full spine circles, completing the circle with your head. At your own pace, incorporate your breath into these 3 circles. And when you're ready, go to the other side. 3 left juicy spinal circles, really waking up our core. Returning back to neutral, tucking our toes under, bringing our hands out a couple inches, we take our first downward facing dog. The goal here is to have a nice straight spine, so feel free to start up on your toes with bent knees to achieve this straight spine, and then work towards straightening the knees and lowering the heels. To get further into this stretch, go ahead and walk your dog, alternating bending and straightening each knee to really get deep in those calves. Once you feel ready, anchor both of those heels back down in our downward dog. In our downward dog, we want to have our heels anchoring towards the ground, stretching out the calf and the Achilles. We want to feel our tailbone reaching towards the sky, lengthening in our back, and feeling our shoulders pressing down as we press firmly between our hands and our feet. We're going to bring our right leg up into our one-legged dog. Go ahead and bring that knee up to your chest and step it through in between your hands. We're going to lower down onto our back knee and untuck our toe into Anjaneyasana, low lunge. In the upper left corner, I have a slight variation. If reaching the ground is a little uncomfortable for you, feel free to bring 2 blocks on either side of your leg. In your low lunge, if you tuck your head downward, you can get into your hip flexor a little deeper. Experiment with that for a moment, and then go ahead and lift up your chest in this stretch. Remembering to constantly tap into your breath, never moving into our stretches too quickly so that our muscles can really relax in this movement. Placing our hands back down, we're going to move our weight back over top of our back leg into our half splits. Our back leg is bent, our hips are square, and we will flex our front leg. Feel free to slightly bend that front leg to help you get into the stretch a little further. You also can use the blocks on either side of your front leg to bring the floor a little closer to you. First, find your flat back, really getting into the back of that right hamstring, and then you can round forward, getting deeper into the stretch. Send your hands down and send your weight back forward into your low lunge. Circle your right arm back to make a nice twist, looking over that right shoulder only if it's comfortable. If not, keep your head in a neutral position. Option to stay here or add on a quick little quad stretch by bending in our back knee and holding on to it. If this is a little too far today, absolutely just stay in your spinal twist, breathing into that position. If you added on the quad stretch, keep your hips low so that you still incorporate your hip flexor on top of this quadricep stretch. Letting that go, circle your arms back down and push yourself up into your runner's lunge, trying to straighten that back knee and feeling a line of energy from your head all the way out to your heel. From there, we're going to push ourselves back into our downward dog. Feel free to walk your dog a little bit. Then we're going to anchor those heels and lift up into our three-legged dog on the other side. Our left leg comes up, hips are square, and then we step it through back to our low lunge Anjaneyasana on the left. Take whatever variation you did on the other side here. I'm keeping my head down a little longer on this side to really feel my hip flexor open up. Feel free to open your chest up to the sky whenever feels most comfortable for you. Bring your hands back down to the floor and make your way back into your half splits, using your blocks if you would like, up on your hands or down on your forearms. Flex that front foot, finding a straight spine first and then rounding over. Remind yourself to try to keep your hips as square as possible, oftentimes meaning that you need to send your left hip back just a couple inches to find that squareness. Coming back forward, back to our low lunge. We're going to circle our left arm up and around, bringing our focus only if that's comfortable. And if you would like to add on your quad stretch, feel free, keeping those hips low and lengthening in the front of the leg. I like to open my chest to the sky here, just to add a little bit more of a chest opener, energizing the front of my body. If you are holding the foot, go ahead and release it and circle that arm back down, finding our runner's lunge. And then sending our hips back to downward facing dog. Pushing into the shoulders, lengthening through the tailbone, the backs of the knees, and grounding through the heels. Tap into your breath here. Look forward and slowly walk your feet into a nice forward fold. Take your feet parallel, hips distance apart. I like to shake my head yes and no to really release the tension in my back. Grab onto opposite elbows in ragdoll arms. If this is uncomfortable for you, you always have the option to bring 2 blocks right under your arms, like I'm doing in the upper left corner. Finding a straight spine and then rounding from there. And we're going to roll up nice and slow. 4, 3, 2, 1. We're going to make our way into our sun salutations to really heat and energize your body. Bring your big toes together and your heels just an inch apart. Inhale and reach our arms up. Take a quick exhale here. Inhale, grab your left wrist with your right hand. Exhale, we're going to do a lateral stretch to the right. Keep bringing our core engaged, really stretching that left side body. Inhale back to center. Switch your grip and stretch over to the left on your exhale. Inhale back to center. Cactus the arms and do a quick chest opener, engaging your core and opening from your upper back. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, swan dive forward. Option to bring your blocks under your hands here to help with your forward fold stretch. Inhale, flat back. Feel your weight on the front of your feet in between each of your toes. So rather than rocking back on your heels, you keep your weight forward to engage your hamstrings. Exhale, Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhale, back up to Tadasana, mountain pose. Exhale, hands back to heart center. Inhale, Tadasana. We're going to grab onto our right wrist with our left hand. Exhale, stretch to the left, opening our right side body. Inhale, back to center, switch your grip. Exhale, stretching to the right. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, cactus your arms. Open up your chest. Inhale, Tadasana. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhale, Tadasana, mountain pose. Exhale, hands to heart center. Moving on a little, inhale, Tadasana, mountain pose, and we go right into our forward fold. Exhale. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, Uttanasana, forward fold. Step back into our high plank. Squeezing your core, shoulders over wrists, and we lower all the way down to our belly, or you can lower onto your knees and then lower down from your knees. From here, we're going to take a slight cobra, hands underneath your shoulders, and slightly press up. Exhale, we bring ourselves back into our downward facing dog. Look forward, bring your feet back up to Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, Tadasana. Exhale, hands to heart center. We take that again. Inhale, Tadasana. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Walk it back to our plank. We lower down to our belly. Option to either take upward facing dog or stay in cobra on your inhale. Exhale, make your way back to downward facing dog. Look forward, walk those feet forward. Forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhale, Tadasana. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, Tadasana. Exhale, Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold, step back to plank. Exhale, we lower down. Inhale, upward facing dog or cobra. Exhale, back to downward facing dog. We're going to lift our right leg into our one-legged dog, hip square, toes pointing down, feet flexed. Bring that leg into your chest and step it forward. We're going to roll our left leg down to a 45-degree angle, circling our arms into our warrior two. Here we want to relax our shoulders down, feeling our shoulders rolling down the back. We want to gaze over top of that right hand and feel our front leg bending a little bit deeper, keeping that knee directly over your toes, not letting it roll in or out. We're going to straighten that front leg, trying to avoid hyperextension, so there's always a little soft bend in the knees. Flip our palm and go into our reverse triangle. You can keep your arm straight up here, or you can bring it all the way to your ear, increasing the side stretch that you'll feel in your right side body. Go ahead and come back to standing. Shift your hips back to the left and pitch forward into our extended triangle. It's a little tricky to see, but in the upper left corner, I have a block on the inside of my leg. That's helping me bring the floor to my hands. You also can place your hand in front of your shin, or all the way down to the floor. Whichever variation you take, just have your hand on the big toe side of that right leg. Coming back up into our warrior two, we're then going to take our reverse warrior, bringing our left arm back onto our left shin. Option to have your right arm straight up to the ceiling or bring it to your ear for that additional side stretch. Try to keep that front leg bent at a 90-degree angle. We cartwheel our hands back down and go ahead and either make your way straight to downward facing dog or take your vinyasa, plank, chaturanga, upward facing dog, downward facing dog. We do the same thing on the other side. We lift our left leg into our three-legged dog. And we bring that knee into our chest and step it through to our runner's lunge. Rotating that right foot to a 45-degree angle on our mat. And circling our arms into our warrior two. Dropping those shoulders, gazing out beyond that left hand. Bending into that left knee, opening up the hips. We're going to straighten that left leg and take our reverse triangle. Again, option to keep your left arm straight to the ceiling or bring it to your ear, only looking up if that's comfortable for your neck. Remembering to breathe in these positions. We come back up, send our hips back to the right, and pitch into our extended triangle. You can use the block. You can see it a little bit better on this side, right in front of that big toe side of the foot. You can put your hand where your shin is, or lower it all the way down to the floor. Only looking up if that's comfortable for you. Make your way back to standing. Bend into that front leg and make your way into your reverse warrior. You can have your left arm up to the ceiling or at your ear, trying to make sure you're still bending as much as you can into that front leg. Cartwheel your hands back down to the floor, making your way to your runner's lunge and taking your vinyasa. And make your way to downward facing dog. Breathing here for a moment. Looking forward, we're going to walk our feet to the top of our mat. Uttanasana, forward fold. Halfway lift. Forward fold. Inhale, Tadasana. Exhale, hands to heart center. We take all of that again. Inhale, Tadasana. Exhale, Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, step it back to your plank. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, one-legged dog, right leg up. Exhale, send it through and make your way into your warrior two. Inhale, reverse triangle. Exhale, extended triangle. Inhale, reverse warrior. Exhale, cartwheel the hands back down. You can either go straight to downward facing dog or take your vinyasa, plank, chaturanga, upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Inhale, left leg, one-legged dog. Exhale, step it through, make your way to warrior two. Inhale, reverse triangle. Exhale, extended triangle. Inhale, reverse warrior. Exhale, back down to your runner's lunge. Either make your way back to downward facing dog or take your vinyasa. We meet in downward facing dog. And we're going to roll out into our plank just for some quick core firing. Bring your right knee into your chest, tap it down to your mat, re-lift it up, and step it back. Same to the left. Bring it into your chest, tap it down onto your mat, in and back. One more time. Right leg in, tap it down, bring it in, step it back, and left leg, bring it in, tap it down, bring it in, step it back. Beautiful. Lowering down onto our knees, we're going to take a nice child's pose. You can either have your knees together or have your knees hip distance apart with your feet together, whatever feels best on your hips. Arms forward and resting your forehead on the ground. From here, we're going to make our way back into our downward facing dog. Getting ready for a nice deep stretch in the legs. Go ahead and lift your right leg and bend it and open up that hip. Do whatever feels good here. If it's rolling the ankle, if it's moving around in that hip socket, making some circles. Send the leg back into three-legged dog. And you're going to bring your right leg forward into pigeon pose. So your right ankle is going to come right by your left hand. If this is a little uncomfortable for you, you can always lie on your back, cross your right leg, flexing that foot on top of your left knee, and then bringing your hands to either your left hamstring or left shin to pull your legs towards you. If you're in pigeon pose, make sure you flex that right foot to protect your knee and keep your hips square, rolling your back leg under. So the top of your left foot should be on the ground. You can either stay here and open your chest or lower down as far as comfortable for you. We're going to be here for a minute, so go into a nice, comfortable place where you feel the sensation on your right outer hip, where you can relax into this stretch, really tapping into your breath. Slowly come out of this stretch, rolling on to your right hip and swinging your left leg around in front of you. You're going to connect your right foot to your left inner thigh, and you're going to reach up, inhale, exhale, flat back forward. You can either come up to your fingertips, onto your elbows, or rest your upper body on your left leg. We'll stay here for a few breaths. A few more breaths here, inhaling, lengthening, exhaling, relaxing. Beautiful. Slowly come on up. We're going to take our bent leg, our right leg, and hug it in towards our chest. Then we're going to cross our right foot over our left leg and put your right arm behind you. Inhale, left arm reaches up. Exhale, left arm hugs that right leg and you twist over your right shoulder. Inhaling, lengthening. Exhaling, twisting a little deeper. Slowly undo your twist. And we're going to come into fire log legs. Your right leg will be crossed on top of your left. Your right foot will be flexed on top of your left knee, and your left foot will be flexed underneath your right knee. A variation of this pose is to take Sukhasana, easy pose, where you're crossed at your ankles and then stretch forward from there. You also can use 2 blocks. One will go under each knee. This will give you a little bit more space in this stretch. You can stay lifted as long as you're feeling the sensation in the back of your hips. For a further stretch, begin to walk your arms forward, either staying up on your hands with a flat back, lowering down to your elbows, or lowering all the way down with your head on the floor. Slowly coming out of that, we're going to cross our legs into Sukhasana, come forward into tabletop to make our way slowly back into downward facing dog. We're going to do all of that on the other side. Go ahead and lift your left leg, open up that hip, and do whatever feels good for you here. Bring that leg back into parallel 3-legged dog and send it forward. Left foot goes to right hand into your pigeon. If you took the lying on your back variation on the other side, feel free to do it here, switching which leg is on top. In your pigeon, make sure your hips are square. Your right knee and foot are towards the ground, and your front foot is flexed to protect your knee. Either stay with your chest up or slowly make your way down to hands, elbows, or forehead to the floor. We'll be here for a minute. Really tap into your breath. A few more breaths here. Really trying to relax into this stretch. Slowly make your way back up, rolling onto that left hip to send your right leg around in front of you. Sitting up tall on those hips, bringing that left foot to your right inner thigh. Inhale, stretch up. Exhale, either come down to your hands, elbows, or lying on top of that leg. Inhale should lengthen. Exhale should deepen and relax. Slowly coming back out of that, bring your left knee in, cross that left leg over the right. Left arm goes back, right arm stretches up. Inhale, and exhale to twist. Inhales, lengthen. Exhales, twist a little deeper. Slowly coming out of that twist, making our way into fire log legs. You can take the same variations if you did it on the other side, either crossing the legs in Sukhasana or putting the blocks underneath your knees. Wherever you are, inhale to lengthen, exhale to either lower onto your hands, elbows, or forehead to the floor. Slowly coming out of that stretch, crossing our legs into Sukhasana again, transitioning to tabletop. We're going to slowly lower onto our belly, and we're going to take a quick back warmer. So we're going to arch up into Cobra, but lifting our hands off the floor, really engaging those back muscles. Feeling the back heat up, and then we relax, bringing our left cheek to the floor. We're going to do this 3 times. Trying to keep our legs engaged, feet anchored. We get ready for number 2. Inhale, Cobra up. And exhale, right cheek comes to the ground as we rest this time. And getting ready for one more set. Inhale. Feel those muscles contract. Exhale, left cheek comes to the ground. Go ahead and take a quick upward facing dog, really opening up that back and that chest. And make your way into child's pose. Go ahead and roll up onto your knees. Sitting up on your knees should be directly under your hips, parallel, and your feet should be parallel from one another, toes tucked under. Bring your hands to your hips. Inhale, open up the chest. Exhale, arch back. You can either stay here with your chest facing the ceiling, or you can bring your right arm down to your heel and your left arm down to your heel for full camel. When you're here, you really want to think about pushing your hips forward as you open your chest to get this nice U curve in your upper back. Bring your hands back to your hips if they weren't already, and bring yourself back up. We're going to do that one more time. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, arch. Either stay here or lower one hand at a time into your camel. While in your camel, make sure to really breathe expansive breath. It will help you deepen your stretch. Bring your hands back to your hips and set it on up. Sit back down onto your heels and take another child's pose to counter this stretch. Coming back forward to tabletop to lower down to your belly. We're going to take bow pose. You can either grab onto one leg, making sure you grab onto the inside of that ankle. You can push up onto your opposite elbow, or you can grab onto the inside of both feet. You want to feel your feet pressing into your hands, feeling your inner thighs squeezing towards each other, and with that pressure, arch up your upper back, making a nice U shape. Lower down and slowly release the legs. Left cheek to the floor and we rest. If grabbing the feet is a little difficult for you, you also can wrap a strap around your foot. We're going to take that one more time. So if you did half bow pose, you're going to take the other side. If you did full bow pose, we're going to do it one more time, pushing into those hands and arching up. And we lower down our right cheek to the floor and release our legs. We're going to bring our hands and feet underneath us, pushing back into downward facing dog. Looking forward, we're going to walk our feet to our hands, Uttanasana, forward fold. I'm shaking my head yes and no to release the tension in my back. You also can always bend your knees a little more to release your spine a little extra. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, Tadasana. Exhale, hands to heart center. Good. We're going to make our way into some quick standing poses. Keep that right leg a little to really feel grounded on my left. We're going to take Vrksasana, tree pose. You can either have your right leg connected just above your left ankle, or you can squeeze it in to connect to your upper left inner thigh. You want that knee spiraling outwards, opening up your chest, grounding down in the big toe mound of the foot, and hands to heart center. From here, undo your tree pose and give your legs a little shake. You can either hug your right leg with your left arm, or you can grab onto the outside of your right foot with your left arm and straighten it out in front of you. We're going to take a twist here. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, draw that right arm back and twist, looking over the right shoulder. You can use a strap to connect to that foot, holding on with both arms and then twisting, or you can hold on to the knee and twist from there. Slowly undo your twist, give the leg a little shake, and we'll switch to the next side. Shake that left leg out, grounding through the right foot. You can take your tree just above the ankle or up to the inner thigh. Wherever you are, feel your left leg pushing into your right. Feel your energy spiraling out of the crown of your head. Give that leg a little shake. Try to take the same variation you did on your right side, on your left. Sometimes our legs can be a little different from one another, so feel free to use a strap, grab your knee, or grab the outside of your left foot to take your twist. Open up that left arm and slowly bring your gaze to that left hand if it is comfortable for you. Shakes are totally normal. Greet them with a smile and try to ground down through that big toe mound of the foot. Release that out. And now we're going to make our way into our King Dancer pose, or Natarajasana. Bend your right knee, grabbing the inside of your right ankle with your right arm. Bring your knees together for a quick quad stretch, opening up through the front of the legs. Raise your left arm on an inhale, and just like in bow pose, push into your hand and pitch forward, trying to hug your knee into the center line, relaxing your shoulder, and gazing out through your hand. You also can use a strap around your foot, and you'll push into that strap the same way you would push into your hand. You also can use a wall to assist with balance. Slowly make your way back to bring your knees together, left arm up, and let that go. Give it a little wiggle. We'll take the same on the other side. Hold the inside of your left ankle with your left arm, knees together, opening up in that front leg. Inhale, right arm lifts. Exhale, pushing into that hand. Use that as a lever to pitch forward, hugging the knee towards the center line. Left shoulder pushing down and gazing out past those fingers. Trying to have a slight bend in your bottom knee to avoid locking into hyperextension. Slowly and controlled, come back to your knees connected, right arm up, and let that go. Great work, everybody. We're going to take our last vinyasa. Inhale, Tadasana. Exhale, Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, step it back to plank. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, our last downward facing dog. Really breathe into your stretch here. And we're going to lower down to our knees and take a child's pose. Feel free to have your knees wide or knees close, whatever feels best for your hips. Taking a quick back stretch, reach your hands over to your right, lengthening into that left side body. Walk your hands back to center and walk your hands to the left, stretching that right side body. Walk your hands back to center. Walk them in so you can roll up. And we're going to make our way to our backs. So go ahead and bring your legs around to the side and lower yourself down onto your back, hugging your knees into your chest. Do whatever feels good here, pointing and flexing the feet, rocking side to side, or making circles on your lower spine. Option to stay here. If shoulder stand or plow are in your practice, we're going to do that now. For shoulder stand, bring your legs up, facing the sky, pointing your toes, with your hands on your lower back, elbows pushing into the floor. Lowering your legs down to plow. I like to bring my hands down, but feel free to keep them on your lower back. Feet are together, and if knees bending slightly helps you in this position, feel free to do that. Really stretching the back of your spine and lengthening between each vertebrae. Breathing here. Wherever you are, slowly roll down and meet in knees to chest, hugging them in. We're going to take a revolving twist. You can either keep your knees together, or if you want a little bit of a deeper twist, cross your right leg over your left, cactus your arms, and then drop your knees to the left, looking over your right. Breathing deeply into this position, increasing your stretch with every inhale and exhale. Use your core to bring your knees back up. If they were crossed, uncross them and cross your left over your right to take your twist to the right. Knees drop to the right and your head looks over to the left. Trying to keep your upper body glued into the floor. Feeling both shoulders pressing into the earth. Breathing deeply. Use your core to bring your legs back up, uncrossing them. Give them one last loving squeeze, doing whatever you need here. Really take notice of how your body feels different than it did when you began this practice. Take whatever final poses you want to take before we take our final Shavasana. I'm going to take a quick happy baby, holding on to the outsides of my feet and pulling my knees down to my armpits to open up my hips a little. Take whatever final postures you need before we conclude today. With one last hug of the knees to the chest, release into your final Shavasana, letting your feet roll outwards, your shoulders pressing down, your hands opened upward, your jaw relaxed, your eyes closed. Tap into your breath. Let your weight fall heavy into the earth. Shavasana is the time where everything you did in your practice is integrated into the body. Allow your body this time to rest and focus in on your breathing. I'm going to repeat the quote that I said in our beginning Shavasana of our practice. Sometimes the greatest miracle is being able to face exactly where you're at and say, "This is where I am. No running, no hiding. There's gold for me here, and I intend to find it no matter what." And with that, I'm going to leave you for a little bit to rest. I will be back in a moment. Enjoy. Slowly start to bring some life into the fingers and the toes, giving them a little wiggle, and extend your body into a full body stretch, feet pulling down, arms pulling up. Slowly roll onto your right side, relaxing here for a moment. And slowly make your way to a seated position. Thank you so much for joining me in this practice today and for taking the time out of your day for your self-practice. Bringing the hands to your third eye. Thank you again for joining me for our 60-minute full body stretch and tone. I hope to see you next time. Namaste.